Most people think the food industry is all about recipes, but the truth is great food fails every day because of mindset and business mistakes. And today I'm talking with somebody who lives inside that world in the restaurants, food trucks, food trends, that stuff. And we're pulling back the curtain on what actually makes a food business survive. And I've got Omar Dominguez here with me, and he works with food every single day. So I want to know just right off the bat, Omar, what is the biggest mistake you see people make when they try to turn great food into a good business?
I think in most cases it's mindset. I think most people don't see the whole picture. They don't see when they jump to the business, something that's very common is they jump in the business because they have a good recipe. They know how to make tacos. They know how to make any kind of food, but they don't know all the other parts of the business. They don't know about taxes, about payroll, about management, human resources. So all these other factors that they don't understand is what makes them end in a complicated situation. I think that's part of the main reasons.
Right, right. One of the books that I've read, I don't know if you've heard of it, is called the E-Myth. It's
Yeah,
basically how businesses people have this great idea, but they don't actually know how to run their business. And so
exactly,
they go in with a great idea and then they fail because they don't have all of the things set up that make a business a good business.
exactly. Yeah, sometimes the food is a really a passionate industry. So people that jumps into this industry is because they love what they do,
Right.
and this same passion is what sometimes makes them don't see the other sides of the business.
Right.
It's way more than cooking, way more than cooking,
Right.
because
Right.
you can have the best, but if you don't know how to sell it, it's
Right.
not going to sell. Yeah,
And a lot of the business owners, especially when it comes to artists, and I would count anybody who creates anything to be an artist, they have their passion, what they're excited about, and then learning about the business stuff is very, very overwhelming.
yeah.
And it tends to take away their excitement and their passion. And so I want to know, do you think most failures come from bad business decisions or from bad mindset, or would you say a combination? I mean, where do you think the failures come from?
I think it's a combination.
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen cases where people decide where to open the restaurant, and we all know it's the wrong place, but their passion makes them decide to go into this wrong place. And sometimes from day one, it's a challenge. It's more challenging than the normal industry is because they pick the wrong location, because they pick the wrong management.
Right.
So there's several factors, but I think decisions is one of the other key elements when people is failing.
Right. Right. Okay, so what do new entrepreneurs, especially in the food industry, almost always misunderstand about the business side, the money, the taxes, margins, things like that?
What they miss most of the times is that they have to keep learning new things every day.
Yeah,
Knowing recipes, like you mentioned at the beginning, is not enough.
right,
Culinary school is not enough. You have to
right,
be knowing what trends are, what is selling more, what people want. You have to learn how to read your clientele.
right,
Sometimes the people is telling you, hey, I want you to do this, I need this from you. But if you're not paying attention to your team, to your clientele, it's going to be hard for them to keep coming if you are not doing what they need to be done. Like
right.
in some cases, I have a few clients, they have taquerias, and people they won't go to a taqueria, they say, do you have a burrito? No, I don't. When you have so many people asking for that, well, you have to probably consider to add something else to your menu. And
Right,
I know sometimes they want to stick to their original plan and the main idea. But sometimes if your market is telling you we are here because we want this,
right.
that's something you have to consider.
Right, right. And I love that because like I'm an author. I've got a bunch of books published and I learned really quickly that what my customers want is more important than what I'm excited about in some cases. Like I have that brand that I stick to, but expanding a little bit because, readers, they ask, they're like, okay, what about this? What about this? What about this? And I think
Okay.
that's going to be the case with pretty much any kind of business. If your customers are saying they want a burrito, It would be, I mean, it's a good business decision. I mean, there is something to be said about sticking with what you're passionate about, but if you can expand just a little bit, that actually can serve you quite well in the long run.
Yeah, exactly. And especially in this example where you have everything to make a burrito, why
Right.
not?
Right.
It's a matter of changing one tortilla size and that's it. You have everything else.
Right.
So if you as a business owner don't think you have to adapt to the market, that's a big problem.
Right.
That's a big, big problem.
Right. So, okay, so for those who don't know you yet, tell us briefly about what you do in the food world and why you see these patterns so clearly, these issues so clearly.
Well, my name is Omar Dominguez. I am a consultant, a gastronomic consultant. I've been this year. I'm going to be 30 years in the industry, so that's a long time.
Right.
What I do is I help families to start their food businesses. I focus a lot in people who is needing how to fill out an application,
Right.
how to understand the whole business, the whole picture. I do consulting. We do marketing. We have one of our departments in the company is dedicated to create content for restaurants.
Right.
We do licenses. We do seminars, workshops. We do a networking event here in Salt Lake City every month where we teach a class about business. Sometimes it's sales, sometimes it's food cost, sometimes it's payroll, and then we do a networking after that, so we can make
Connections.
more connections and bring more people to the level they need to be to operate successfully. So
Right.
basically, I breathe food every day. I have right now we have around 200 clients that we're helping right now,
Nice.
and I mean this is my passion, combining my talent like helping people with the food industry was like a big big hit for me. I love it.
Right. And you obviously have a lot of experience and you like it when I mean you do things the right way, like licensure and permits and things like that. And I mean that all affects how successful a business ends up being ultimately.
Yeah, yeah. They one of the main focuses is I help people. They have a dream, and I help them to make that dream a reality.
Yeah.
And my idea came because when I start looking for options online, how to
Hmm.
start different businesses. I own taquerias and I have food trucks and restaurants. So I always found information about how to make your first million, how to go from 5 millions to 10 millions. And so I didn't find anybody working with, okay, how do I fill out the application? What documents I need to start my business, to do my LLC?
Right. Right.
So I decided that was the niche I'm going to work. And I've been doing it with Spicy Consulting. I've been doing it for 9 years now.
Nice.
Actually, this year in I think it's August, we're going to be 10 years. And that's my main focus, helping the small micro company that's starting because it's hard for them to um, start.
Right.
I work a lot with the Hispanic community, so sometimes the language is a challenge.
Right.
And then when they come to me, I try to make them say, okay, this is not about the language. I'm going to help you to grow your business. I'm not going to help you only to fill out the application and do the paperwork. I want you to be successful, and
Right.
I've been working on that for all this time. Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really awesome. And one of the reasons I wanted to have this conversation is because my show is about helping people succeed in life, like not just, abstract things. And I like mindset stuff, but also the taking that mindset and aligning it with decisions so that the effort that we put into what we're working on actually leads somewhere. And food businesses are a really great example of that because it's super easy to fail as a food business, but it's also once you figure out how to run a business and how to have all of the little ducks lined up in a row, you can actually make pretty good money in the food business, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a matter of understanding the business.
Right,
Um, Sometimes what we need is sit down somebody and explain. Okay, this is how you make money. Step one, step two, step three. It's not about just selling food. There's a
right,
lot of other factors you have to understand. Service is something in a big percentage of the restaurants and food trucks they're not doing right. You know,
Right, right,
you have servers that they're there just because they know they're going to get a tip. It's not
right,
because they want to help the company.
right,
It's
right,
not because they're concerned about how do I provide an excellent experience to this client. So those little points, when the owners understand, the operators understand, everything changes. You know,
right,
you're making money or you're losing money depends on how these three factors work. Number one for me, for the system we use, is your facilities, service, and food.
right,
If you cover those three to create one excellent experience, you have a good percentage of a probability of success because uh, the experience you're selling is fantastic. There are some other factors. There's some other parts of the business when you have to have a good social media so you can drive people
right,
to the store, to your
right,
restaurant. But if once they are in there, they're not looking at your food. They want an experience.
right.
And that you have to learn how to read every client. Sometimes, for example, people come and say, "This is my first time I'm here,"
Mm-hmm.
and the owners or the operators they don't value that
Right,
statement. They're
right,
telling me what they're actually telling you is the first time I'm here. If you do everything right, I'm going to stay here forever. You know,
right.
but they don't see it. They say, "Oh, okay, okay, good, thanks, good for letting me know. Thank you for letting me know." But they don't know how valuable that information is.
Yeah. No, that's like a bit of gold that they hand you. You
Exactly.
have a chance to impress them and to not just with the food, but like you said, service. Like you're in the food industry. That is all about service. And that's going to apply to not just the owners of the company, but all the way down, like you were saying, down to the servers, the waiters, the waitresses, or people just hand the food, or even the people who accept the money from customers. All of it is about what kind of an experience are you giving that person that day, and especially when it's their first day, that or their first time there, that's a huge deal.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And it depending on your business, depending on what kind of business you have, what kind of restaurant you have, sometimes you have to consider smaller points. Like I have kids, and for me, it's hard to go to a place where they don't have a menu for kids.
Right, right,
If I go to a place that they don't have this menu specific for them, I'm not going to buy into different places. I'm going to go to the place where I can serve my whole family.
right,
So
right,
sometimes it's that easy. Sometimes it's, if you have a server that is actually focused in the experience, and you have your kids, and your kids are crying or they're not happy in that place. It's as easy as just bring a piece of paper and crayons, and you solve the issue.
right,
That way, you're switching the experience, and now the parents have a good experience.
right,
Now they say, okay, this lady is gonna take care of me every time this little kid cries, so I'm gonna be here more often.
right.
Mhm.
So when a food business starts struggling, what's usually the first sign that it's headed toward failure?
Uh, lack of management. If you don't manage your numbers right, that's going to kill you in a matter of months.
Right,
If you don't manage your team, if your team is not happy, that's going to kill you in months as well. So
right,
management is a big critical point. Not everybody has the skills to be a good manager,
right,
and in for some cultural reason, whenever somebody gets a management position, for some reason they assume, oh, now I am the boss, I don't have to do this and this. No, it's the other way around. Now you have to do it better.
right,
It's hard for them to understand.
right,
uh, I have a session where I sit down with the operator, if it's not the manager, and I explain what this manager needs to understand so you can have a a smooth operation. you know
right.
that way you can have less headaches and more money. That's how we make them see, like, open eyes and say, okay, this is about money.
Yeah,
You have to make sure you're making money. Yeah,
right. And nobody wants more headaches. I mean, a little bit of upkeep, that management, overseeing things, making sure that you know what's going on with your business, that prevents massive issues in the future. And I
exactly.
mean, in the food industry, the margins are so narrow that if you're not keeping track of things, like the chances of failure I mean, and failure fast are higher. I've seen so many businesses in just our little local town here, start and then go out of business in just a few months. And it's heartbreaking.
Yeah. Some other of the mistakes I've seen is they don't have capital to for the operation. They have some capital to start.
Mm,
They cover all that, and then when they actually start the operation, they don't have enough money to support those hard times. The beginning, the first months are the hardest,
right,
and that becomes a challenge. Because you
right,
start like not having enough to your operation to cover payroll, which is something really big,
right,
and at the end, if you don't have money to operate your business, that's really hard because when you get to that point, it's hard for other institutions to give you loans or
right,
grants or something because now you're in a bad spot. So that's something it's crucial to understand how much you need to start because sometimes they think, and I'm telling you this because I work with small companies.
right,
How
right,
much money I need to open the restaurant? Not you need X amount of money. They only consider that amount,
right,
not the whole money you need to start operating. That's a whole different chapter. Yeah,
right. Yeah, because I mean, it takes time I mean, you have that initial investment, and then it takes time to start to actually turn a profit,
yep.
and to get the extra capital that you need to actually push the business forward.
Mhm.
So how often do owners, so when you point out to them or when they know that they're starting heading towards failure, how often do they refuse to pivot even when it's obvious that they need to?
That's very often.
Yeah,
We,
that's
we have
heartbreaking.
one of the services that I love the most is I do secret shopping.
Hmm.
So in some cases, I do it myself. Sometimes I can do it because people knows who I am. So
Right,
when they get to the restaurants, the level of the service is higher because they know I'm in this business, and it's different. But I have two, three chefs, and they learn how to live the customer experience. So we have a few questions, like 74, and we evaluate facilities, service, and food. Based on that, we make a plan. We determine what was good, what was wrong, and how do we fix what is wrong.
right,
When they go to the owner and say, "Okay, this is what we found," and it's even when they hire me to do it, it's hard for them to change
right,
because they are like, "No, no, this is right. We're doing this because it's my mom's recipe." Yeah, but it doesn't work. You
right,
know.
right.
Oh, we're doing this because we've been doing this for 20 years. Well, you've been doing it wrong for 20 years. So sometimes it's hard for them to even when they hire me to find those issues,
Right,
it's hard for them to switch.
right,
It's just a culture, It's people get used to habits, and sometimes they're not the best habits.
right. Yeah, they get it's kind of like it's that their little pet that is like a little
Exactly.
a little germ, like a little flu virus, but it's theirs and they want to keep it because they've had it for so long and they don't
Yeah,
recognize the damages that it's causing.
exactly. And sometimes you don't need more than 2 minutes to start seeing what the challenges are or why they are in this crisis.
Right.
You step into a restaurant and the menu is 79 items.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Right, right. It's
You
too
can tell,
much.
okay, you can tell those are the issues, but those people with these huge menus is because in their mindset they think they're gonna serve every single person. If you come to my
Oh,
place and you want a burger, I have a burger. I
right,
have a pizza. I have tacos.
right.
So sometimes it's too much, but it's hard for them to see it, to actually see it and change it.
Right, right. I mean, that is definitely a mindset issue because, I mean, we talked earlier about just serving the little tacos and if you added a burrito, that would help you. But there is the opposite side of the spectrum where, you know, there's too many things for people to pick from, and I understand that mentality because when I first started writing books and I found out that my readers also liked thrillers and my readers also liked science fiction, I was like, oh my goodness, I need to actually write those because if I don't give them what they want, they're going to go somewhere else. But
Yeah,
that's not the point. The point is to give them what is within your what is the word, within your skill set, and then
yeah,
also too many options. Like me myself, I prefer I can be picky sometimes, but I prefer less options, fewer options, because that overwhelm that comes from seeing a huge menu and then it takes you 10 minutes to get through it, you know?
Yeah. Uh, can I mention names, company names?
Mm. It's up to you.
Okay. One of my main examples is this burger place. They only have two different burgers, but they do it perfect every single time. So they don't have to have 19 different burgers. They only have two,
Right,
and that's it. The key is to make every single time a perfect burger.
right,
So their execution is so good that they don't need more than two items.
right,
They just focus and make sure those two items are perfect, and they have a 25 cars line in the drive-through for sure.
right. Can you tell an example where a mindset shift or a just adopting a new mindset helped a struggling business survive?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know what? I'm not talking. I'm not going to talk about product, but I had a case in the past that the owner he was under so much stress, and he was always trying to get the whole stress only for himself.
Yeah,
So he called me. We talked, and we determined we need to work on that part. When he started delegating and he started like sharing this stress with some other part of the team, the way he was operating changed 100%.
yeah,
Like instead of being mean all the time and being mad and disrespect people, he started creating a different approach to his team because now he was not under all this pressure. He was like he divided the pressure with the team,
right,
and they started growing because he was managing like a big chunk of stress. Let me see. He was managing a big chunk of stress, and then he divided that in like three or four people more.
right,
So in a week, he was only in charge of one part of the operation. He got people responsible for the other sides of the operation. So at the end, everybody started like solving issues and
right,
growing. So he was like at the bottleneck of the company. And now when he changed to delegate, everything changed. Everything. The atmosphere, the operation, the flavors, because now everybody was cooking in a different way. They
mhm,
were not under pressure. The people started like loving what they were doing. That changes everything.
right, right. And that's a really hard thing for a business owner to find out that they are the bottleneck. They are what's holding their business back.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's hard, but it's really common.
Yeah,
It's really common, and it's because of the passion. Because
right,
they are so passionate, they feel like nobody's gonna do this better than me, so I have to do it.
right,
You
right.
know? But they get to a point where they are hurting the business because everything needs to go through them.
Yeah,
And for some people, it's really hard to delegate.
right,
Sometimes
right,
they want to do the shopping and then they want to do the preparation. They want to do the sales process and they want to do be the cashier and the cook. So it doesn't work that way. It
no.
doesn't work that way.
No. And how do you help businesses know when it is time to start delegating? Because in the beginning, you don't always have the finances to cover all of those different positions and have somebody doing all of them.
Yeah. Well, most of the people that I start with, they start small. We always start with a plan to grow. That's for sure.
Right.
But I always try to make sure they don't try to bite more than they can chew.
Right.
That's
Right.
a smaller operation. There are some businesses that they start making good sales like right away. We opened a restaurant last year in no in 2024, and then from day one until today, it's been busy every single day,
Nice.
7 days a week. They have a huge line
Hmm.
through the door, so their sales have been really really good. And they had experience before, but they never had a restaurant.
Right.
They were selling food from home, and when they started the restaurant, we knew it was going to be a good business. We never expect to be having these huge sales from day one.
Right.
So uh, what I made sure is you have to see yourself as a business. So you have that feeling of okay, now it's time to hire another cashier.
Yeah.
Nice. You know what? Now I need a dishwasher because at the beginning we have two cooks and they do everything: prep, dishes, garbage,
Right.
everything.
Right.
And we explained to them when we start, we're a small company. I want you to work with me, but I'm going to need you to do this, and this. I'm going to pay you fine, but I need you to be willing to do everything.
Right.
And in most cases, it's fine with them
Yeah.
because they're going to be good, making good money. But at the same time, really soon, in those examples, really soon, you need to grow. Sometimes you even need more equipment, more registers, more equipment in the
Right.
kitchen,
Right.
just
Right.
because the business is requiring all this from you.
Right. Yeah. What mindset separates food business owners who last from the ones who burn out?
Delegation.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I think
Yep.
delegation is key. Delegation
Right.
is key. When you have big plans in your head, and all those plans are something you want to do yourself, that's a challenge.
Right.
They're not going to make it as fast as if you find the right person for the right position and delegate properly. You know what? And something you have to find out when you do interviews, if we want to talk about a little bit of the interviews, uh, you have to find the right person for every position. You
Right.
know,
Right.
I can hire a cashier if they don't. She's not a person, or he's not a person who likes to talk to people.
Right.
You know, that's basic. You don't need just a human right there. You need somebody with some skills,
Right.
and that's a failure. Every time every time I train people to hire how to hire people properly, they go to a resume. Oh, this guy's been working for 15 years in this place. He's been making burritos for this in this place, and then when it comes to your restaurant, he keeps doing burritos the way he was doing at the other business, not on yours.
Right.
So what we need to evaluate when you do an interview is attitude. I appreciate and I love the fact you have 15 years doing burritos over there, but are you going to be willing to switch and doing the way I do it?
Right.
That's key.
Right.
That's
So
key. Because you keep your identity that way.
is it easier for them in that case to find somebody who's capable, meaning that they exhibit the ability to do work, but who isn't maybe set in the way they do things, so you can train them to do them the way you want things done? Or is it better to hire somebody who has that experience and then see if you can train them to cook the way you want things cooked, etc.?
Depending on the business, you probably need somebody who has experience in how to work under pressure, like high volume restaurants.
Yeah,
But if he's not willing to change and adapt to your menu, to your way to do things, he's not the right person for you.
right,
In that way, if in that scenario, I'd rather hire somebody who's been in the kitchen 6 months. He knows the basics. He knows how to grab a knife, and I'm gonna teach him everything he needs to know.
right,
That way, the only habit they have is mind habits.
right,
Mhm.
right. I like that.
That works.
Right. Okay, so say you've got somebody who's approached you, they want to start a restaurant or open a restaurant or a food truck business. What sorts of things would you tell them? Like, how would you tell them to mentally prepare for starting their business?
You know what? In the first session, I talk a lot about mindset, a lot. I mean, I sometimes for them it's kind of weird that this guy works with food and he's talking about mindset all the time.
Right.
But it's because to me, your success starts here.
Right.
Your
Yes.
failures start here.
Right.
If you're not ready in your brain, in your mind, it's hard, you know. And I told them, this is stage when we are, this first 3 months when we're just doing all the paperwork, they're gonna drain your mind
Right.
because you're paying permits and licenses and taking classes, but there's no sales, there's no money coming.
Right.
So your mindset needs to understand, like, okay, this is my investment for 3 months. I'm going to do this. Then when we open, we're going to start making money
Right.
because, and I started doing that because in the past I saw people that were not even open, and they feel, oh, you know what? I've been paying so much. Well, you pay a business license and a health department permit and an LLC. You need to do it. You know,
Right.
there's
Right.
no way you can operate without those payments. So
Right.
and they felt like, no, I don't want to do it because I'm spending so much money. Well, you are in the wrong industry for sure.
Right. Right. And
So,
that
and
is a
sometimes,
mindset thing.
yeah, and sometimes I really go straight and say, you know what? Why are you want to start in this business? No, because I know somebody. I have a neighbor. He's doing a food truck. He's doing really good. Okay, do you have experience in the food business? No. Do you like to cook? No. Do you understand the business? No. So I don't think this is the right fit for you
Right.
because not because your neighbor is killing it, that means you're gonna do it. That
Right.
he's killing it because he has experience, he likes the food. I mean, there's some other factors. It's not just like buying a food truck and you start making money like crazy. It's not that way.
No,
Mhm.
that's not how it goes. And like, I mean, is mindset, passion, experience, like it's not a get rich quick scheme, you know? Just
For
because
sure.
you have a neighbor who's making a lot of money. Yeah, like you said, they've got the passion, the experience, they've got the desire, and it's not just about going in and making money. It's like what do you actually want to do? And is it food what you want to do? Because it's really easy to fail in food
Yeah.
businesses, especially if you don't actually really want to do it.
Yeah. And you know what? One of the biggest mistakes is when you do your food, because when you do all your calculations, one of the most common mistakes is, oh, I'm going to sell my spaghetti this much because the guy 2 blocks away has the same price.
Right,
So you don't know this other person costs, how much is he, how much cost for this person to make that dish.
right,
And he has it wrong, you have it even worse because you're not even counting how much money you're spending on making this dish.
right,
So that's something really common. People trying to set pricing according to competition when it needs to be the other way around. You have to
right,
know your numbers, see what your value is. As long I mean value, I mean what else I'm offering, a good service, good facilities,
right,
and now you set your price.
right,
You don't want people looking to your coming to your business because you're cheap and you have eh, kind of good quality. You want people to come because they're living a good experience with you.
right,
And the experience starts with the food.
right.
It's not everything about the food, but it starts with the food.
Right. So, do you work with only the Hispanic community, or do you work with pretty much anybody who wants to work with food?
Anybody,
Okay.
anybody, yeah, yeah. I just work with the Hispanic community a lot because there's not too many options in the Hispanic community for gastronomy consultants.
Right,
they are
right,
there's a lot of business consultants and like real estate consultants and something like that. But
right,
here locally in Utah, I think there's probably two or three more.
right.
But since I've been doing it for so long, and I mean, you go to social media and I have videos from 6, 7 years ago.
Yeah,
People comes to me because I'm very well known in the Hispanic community.
yeah, yeah. That's good. That's branding, you know?
It is good, yeah, exactly, yeah.
Okay, so if someone wants to start small in the food world, what is the smartest first step they should take?
If you want to start small and you want to like validate your products, there's an option here in Salt Lake, here in Utah, where you can sell food from home.
Oh,
You can legally sell food from home. We have a special permit we do. There's some limitations, like raw fish, raw seafood is not allowed.
yeah,
But basically, with that kind of license, you can start from your house selling food, testing if people like this or not,
right,
and they go from there. That's like the smallest way to do it.
right. Okay. That's awesome. I mean, yeah, like if you can sell it from your house, then you have a much higher chance of being able to sell it elsewhere. And if you can't sell it from your house, then there's going to be a problem inside of your business model or what you're actually serving, right?
Mhm. Exactly. Yeah. 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 And now we have a platform where we do basically the same as the big delivery services, but
Yeah.
we do it from home.
Oh, cool.
So we have a platform where you can set up your store, sell from that company from that platform, and then uh, promote your business from there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I like that. That's awesome.
It's
Um,
good.
so yeah, this has been a really eye-opening look at what really makes or breaks food businesses, and not just the food itself, but the mindset and the decisions behind it, especially delegating. Thank you so much, Omar, for being here and sharing your insights.
Sure. Thank
So,
you.
what's one piece of advice that you can leave our listeners with that could save someone from a costly mistake, especially in this business?
Yeah, I think the one good advice is once you're in this business, you can't stop learning.
Yeah,
You have to be learning. You have to be reading. You have to be listening to podcasts. You have to be checking what new trends are. There's a big move in fusion kitchen
right.
when you are fusioning Mexican with Japanese and Italian with, I mean, so many things. And if you stop learning, you stop growing. That's how it is.
Right, right. I love that so much. Thank you so much for sharing that. And for the listeners, if this conversation resonated with you, I'm going to have links to Omar's consulting and that platform. I'd love to get a link to that. I'll have all of that in the show notes. And if you want more conversations like this, hit the subscribe button. And thank you so much for listening. Bye.